It's Emma here today from Relation. Today our video is going to talk you through about the 4-step plan of how you can effectively implement and embed change in your business. So please grab a cup of tea, take a watch, and we'd love to know your thoughts.
So the first step then is all about how you brief that change to your team. So the first thing is all about that brief and making sure that we have a real clear, consistent brief to our team. We need to think in some granular detail here around what those changes are, why we're making them, and ensure that our team take that on board. You know, think about this brief and think about how we can involve the team in that brief. Some of the great briefs that I've been in before have used things like, and for those of you who've done the Growth Academy or the Growth Framework will have seen we use things like the Pentagon analysis, yeah? So where we give people the voice and we give them the opportunity to talk to us about their thoughts and their feelings around those changes. Anybody wants further information on things like the Pentagon analysis, just let us know. We can get some tools up on Basecamp for you. But we need them to be thinking about, you know, making sure we are communicating really strongly and with real high quality information about the changes that we want to make. And as I say, asking for their thoughts and their opinions, and making sure we're reinforcing that communication. So we don't just give them a brief and then go away. We give them a brief and then we reinforce that message. You know, we perhaps send a real detailed email around that brief. And those briefs might look different for us right now. You know, the chances are we are going to be doing them via things like Zoom. So think about how you can reinforce that brief and how you can make sure that your team take on board the changes that you need to make. As I say, it's not just the communication then, it's also about the justification. Yeah, we need to be talking to them exactly about why we want to make those changes. What does that mean for them as a member of that team? You know, what are the benefits to them as a member of the team? What are the benefits to the business as a whole? You know, so sometimes those changes could be more about, you know, the wider benefits. So we need to share that with them. We also need to share with them what the benefits are to those changes for our clients so that they get to see the whole picture, and give them the opportunity to feed back on that around what their thoughts are. The third thing we need to be really clear with them here at that briefing stage then is about our expectations. So making sure that we're really clear on, you know, what it is we expect off the back of these changes, and, you know, writing down what we will be expecting from them as we implement these changes into the business, and how we will track and measure that and feed back the things that are working well and the areas that we still need to tweak and change. So that briefing stage is really important to get their buy-in and ensure that they are willing to come on that journey with you. We'll still have some exploration, you know, we can't get away from that. People will still want to explore those changes, but actually if you can give that voice right from the very beginning, and if you can think about all of the challenges that they are going to face, and give them answers to how you've already thought about that and how you're going to help them with those challenges and changes, then you will get them all on board. So the second phase then is all about the planning phase. So once we've briefed the team on what we are going to do, we then need to make sure we create a really strong implementation plan. Yeah, we can't just say, right, here's the change we're going to make, guys. We're going to make that change in 2 days and away we go. We need to think again in granular detail around how we are going to implement those changes into our business. What are the time frames? Perhaps what training do we need to give to our staff? You know, what are our expectations again? And we really need to create a really detailed implementation plan and understand what those timescales are, and when each part of that implementation plan is going to happen. The third stage then is all about that reinforcing. So once we've actually launched this new change into our business, a bit like, you know, what we've talked about before, that 3-step management process, we can't just launch this new idea and then expect that everybody's going to jump on board and those changes will happen overnight. We have to be consistently reinforcing that message, looking at, you know, when did we last chat about this new change? Should I be sending an email here? Should I be delivering a bit of extra training around that change, just to make sure that it is sinking in and that people are moving towards that ideal behaviour that we want to see? And it is about that consistent reinforcement and making sure that you create a reinforcement schedule that enables people to take on board those changes and see the positives, and, you know, fully understand the benefits of that to the business. And your fourth stage then is all about assessing and measuring not just the positives, but also the things that aren't working. Yeah, what's working, what's not working. Sharing that with your team. When you're seeing positive results off the back of these changes that you've decided to make sure you're really transparent about those changes with the team, and that you're sharing that. You know, we decided, guys, to make these changes to our process, and actually what we've seen off the back of that is a 20% increase in retention, you know, or actually we decided to make these changes to our recruitment plans because we recognised we had some holes in our business that we needed to fill. Actually, off the back of that, guys, we have managed to recruit that role, and I'm really happy to say, you know, they've been here for 3 months. But also share the things that aren't working and what you're going to do about that. You know, the tracks and measures are there for those two reasons, to see what is working and also to identify the areas that aren't working and change them. Just be sure that you are tracking and measuring for the right amount of time before you decide to make those changes. You know, what we see quite a lot of with clients that we decide to work with is that they've made changes in their business, and, you know, 2-3 weeks down the line they think that change isn't working and they flip it and they move on to something else. You know, you need to be tracking and measuring those changes for a good period of time. You're looking at, you know, 2-3 months, 6 months, to actually understand exactly what the impact is on your business, and then tweak the things that aren't working.